The Bostonian is Matt Perrault.
This is our city.
The book is Dave Sherapan.
Pay him. Pay that man his money.
Together, they are The Bostonian versus The Book.
You covered! You covered 12! I covered!
Follow the show on Twitter at Boston versus The Book.
How do you like them apples?
Bringing you the best insight on sports betting news, Matt and Dave's daily picks, and an entertaining and unfiltered dive into the sports betting industry. Here's Dave Sherapan and Matt Perrault.
And here we go.
It's a Rhythm Monday, boys and girls. How are you? Welcome into another episode of the Bostonian versus the Book. And I happen to be close to Boston today, so it actually is kind of an appropriate name to the show, although I'm in New Hampshire. Dave Sherapan, Matt Perrault will be joined by not one but two guests today. James Santore will come on by from Rhythm. We'll recap the big weekend of betting in college and pro football for the folks at Rhythm and look ahead at tonight's two games. And then, speaking of the two games, the Lip is coming on. Tommy is coming on to give us a rant and rave about the Buffalo Bills, and he'll tell us why Buffalo is going to win tonight against Jacksonville. I'm sure he'll say they're going to cover too, the 5.5. But we got two games tonight, not just one game tonight. We got two games tonight. Dave, Skull is, I guess, what's being yelled at you by random strangers. And today would be the same with the outfit. How are you today?
I had no idea that would result in that. But this is the Randy Moss thing. Yep, just like that. One more. Beautiful. That was for all the people that watch the show in Minnesota, King of Car Seats, East Out 19, all of you. All right. It's real. Sam Darnold and the Minnesota Vikings are 3-0.
Yeah, you better hope that knee's okay. You better hope that knee's all right.
Listen, one thing at a time.
Gotta hope that knee's all right.
Because it's high.
Okay.
You could get
like Addison? Like
Addison,
that's of a high?
That is that type of high. Like real high. Minnesota Vikings up here 3-0. But while all that was happening, you know what else was happening?
What, your Steelers being 3? Well, my neighborhood.
Yeah.
In my neighborhood. What's going on in my neighborhood?
Over the weekend.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get to one of my favorite things.
Red Sox go over their team, their win total. That?
Who they beat?
The Twins.
How many times on Sunday?
2.
2 times. Jimmy, 2 times.
I think Cassis went deep again.
Twins.
Cassis just went deep again, I think.
Bam!
3 home runs and 3 at-bats.
And you know what that means.
I cashed my bet.
That is, you did cash your bet, but I told you this before. Nobody gives a shit about your bets. I'm
just saying. We cashed
individual bets. It's all
did I
well
not
and
tell
good.
you guys to bet Red Sox team total over, and everyone thought it was crazy? They're gonna suck. They're like the Patriots. They're gonna be awful. I'm 1-0. Red Sox team total over. Patriots team total will be over. Okay, I'm 1-0 on this. Patriots will win 5 games over 4.5. Both those bets will cash.
But one thing that I don't think is going to cash is the Minnesota Twins making a playoff.
Playoffs, Tigers.
Because the Tigers, the 3-1-3 guys.
Yeah.
They got 3 games this week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday against Tampa Bay Rays. And then 3 games against the worst team in baseball history, the Chicago White Sox.
It's unbelievable. And they better
it's all right there.
In
the palm of their hand. Right there.
It is the Tigers, absolutely.
On their shoulders, but the Tigers could get into playoffs. And the Lions won. I mean, my goodness.
Things are good. 3-1-3. Feeling good. Feeling good for the 3-1-3. Things are rolling. You guys are feeling good about yourselves. You guys should feel good about yourself. Before we get to James, let's talk about what happened this weekend, because there's a lot of things to get into, but I think everyone is wondering, and there's questions in the comment section already that we can answer here right away about what is going on right now for Circa Survivor, because it has been an absolute bloodbath. If you have been in this thing, Raiders lose, Niners lose, Bucks lose. We're down to 1,600 entries, 1,630 to be exact, and 61% of the remaining 1,630 are on the Bengals tonight in Survivor.
Yeah, just short of 1,000 people.
Are we going to lose over half of the remaining entries tonight?
No, I don't think so. I think the Bengals win.
Could you imagine
about that? But the rate of which we get to this point was so quick.
Because this is what's causing everyone to ask these questions. And I get why Blue Spader's asking this. He's saying, do we make it to Halloween? I think we do make it to Halloween for Survivor. I think it happens.
Oh, you can guarantee we're making it to Halloween.
Well, I look,
I'm
not going to guarantee anything with this contest, but if you think about it, let's say the Bengals do win. Dave's right. The Bengals win tonight against the Commanders. Well, then we're left with 1,600 entries here after 3 weeks. Now, the dramatic drop from 14,200 plus down to 1,600, that's what's caused everybody to go, oh my God, this is going to end fast. Probably not. That's still a lot of entries. I mean, 1,600 entries is still a lot to get between now and Halloween. So yes, we're making Halloween. We're going to make Thanksgiving. I don't think we make Christmas, though. I think you and I disagree on that. I think this thing's over by Christmas.
Oh, yeah. No, we'll make it to there. There's too many people. There's just too many people. And then, like it's starting to settle.
It is.
Where you get, you're going to have 12-point favorites, 11-point favorites, and people are going to pick them and they're going to win. They may not cover, but they're going to win.
The first year went to the end. The second year didn't, right? The second year ended before the end of the year?
No, I'm pretty sure it's gone to the end every year. We'll confirm with.
I thought the second year ended in week 17. They decided to just go ahead and chop it up, and it didn't get the week 18 game didn't matter. But we've made it. The last year made it all the way to the end. I know the first year made 16 people made it to the end in year one. That's why they created the
69 people made it to the year.
Oh, was that wow? Was that? I thought it was 16. Okay, 69 maybe.
COVID year, yeah, it was insane.
And then the next year was 16.
I don't know. I just know because I know somebody who made it to the end. They got 68 grand. It was the cut was 68,000.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
60. I mean, it's still look at 68x your money, so it's depending on how many entries you had, but it's still pretty good. But it's not what you thought when you enter into $1 million contest to pull down to go 20-0, or at that time was 18-0 to go 18-0, and you wind up getting
right before the Thanksgiving and Christmas snafu.
Man alive, it is.
Speaking of puzzles, I mean, I just want to mention Pierre in the cut. He's mid Yahtzee game with his grandparents in Urbana. I mean, watching us and playing Yahtzee with Grandma and Grandpap. I love this. Yahtzee.
Sorry, Pierre. You only got one game left for the Fever, and then their season's over. Sorry. You got one game left.
Quick with that. You came quick.
That's the truth. You just got one of them, and
finally got him on board. He got all excited about the Fever. And
things aren't going right. NFL dogs of 5.5 points, dogs or more, are now 13-2 ATS. There have been 9 outright wins, including Denver over Tampa this past weekend. Denver, Carolina, the Giants, and the Rams all won. They were combined 8-0 entering week 3 straight up.
0-8 straight up.
Oh, sorry, 0-8. My dyslexia kicked in. 0-8, excuse me. Favorites went 6-7 yesterday.
Yes, they did.
Any takeaway from the dog barking early in the NFL?
Well, the first thing you got to look at is they're winning outright. They're not falling where they cover and lose. They're just winning outright. So again, if you beat the CLV, are you good? Maybe the original line stinks. It feels like I'm having the same conversation with people over and over and over and over. Beginning of the season's hard for bettors. Books just put up the numbers and take the bets. Like the market tells you.
Right.
You just let it go. Like, okay, so do you feel good about taking Denver +7 when you could have just had them on the money line? Like the game closed 6.5.
I took them 6.5. So
right.
I mean, I don't know if I feel better. I think a part of me says the adage of if you bet a dog, 10% of your bet should go on the money line. So if you bet $100, put $10 on the money line, because
definitely value there because they win.
Now they're winning consistently. It's not just so if you think a dog is going to cover a line, you should always just sprinkle a little bit, not a lot, just a little bit on the money line. It was just $5 because chances are if you win your ATS bet, I don't know, 30-40% of the time they'll win the game outright if they cover the spread.
I don't know if you have to go back and look at studies. We got Rhythm. We could probably ask them to figure that out, put it in a model. How many times does that happen? There's people that will do that. I think what it will make you, and people are always looking for ways to be better bettors and, get smarter and use tools and all these other things. And I mean, here's one that's as old as time. If you think the dog can win the game, bet the dog.
Yeah.
If you think the dog can win the game, take the points. Because right now they are winning the game, and those are fun sweats. Fun no sweats.
Right. I mean, some of them are walks, easy walks.
But
Vikings, what you're wearing, the Vikings game was never in question. It was
never in question.
It's 14-0, and the game was over.
They played that way from beginning to end. What that will do will make you better in going, do I really want to take this dog plus 8.5?
Right.
Because I don't think they're going to win a game, but they could cover the spread. You'll talk yourself into passes. It'll be a pass. I don't want that. I don't think they're going to win the game. So I'm not
that's where I think
James
is here. So we'll get James here. But that's where I think rhythm actually helps, because I think if you're the way I use rhythm is that I don't follow anything. I make my own handicap. I find out my plays, and then I go and see if I'm off on some reason. Like if there's something on the app that are the numbers telling me that I shouldn't be on the favorite. And if my 3 models on rhythm come back and they all like the other side, I'm like, okay, wait a minute. That gives me pause. It's confirmation bias. I'm not going to lie. I mean, if I have my own opinion that it should be this, and the model says it should be this, and I feel better to bet it, it's a tool. It just helps me get to a bet.
Right.
It helps me press the buy button. It helps me hit it. So it's just a weapon that I use when it comes to my own handicapping. And that's what's fun with it. Like, I don't think we tell you all the time, like, don't trail anybody or anything blindly. Like, do your own research, do your own information, but it can help you find your way to a bet, to hit the button, to hit the buy button. And look, the game still has to hit, right? Regardless of how great you feel about a bet.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, I had someone on Sunday tell me the Miami Dolphins absolutely plus 4.5, hammer the Miami Dolphins. Their favorite play of the weekend was Miami. I was like, okay, watch that game. Miami was never in that game. They were never close to the Seahawks.
Yeah, I mean, the backup quarterback thing works sometimes. It doesn't work other times. I mean, Malik Willis and the Packers were the right side of that game from Jump Street.
He's the most profitable head coach in the first 3 weeks in the last 20 years.
Guy's a football coach.
Matt LaFleur. It don't matter who he's playing or who's that quarterback. He's 15-3 against the number.
Yeah, give him time and a week to game plan. The guy's got a good game plan.
Out of the gate, he's damn good. He is damn good. Let's talk to our guy, Mr. James Santore, on a Rhythm Monday, joining us here on the Bostonian versus the Book.
Is he back home? You're back home?
I think he's back in Philly. How was the Boston trip?
It's great. Made it out alive, which is always good. Again, I didn't know if that was going to be the case, but I'm alive. I'm here. It's nice to be back in Philly. I'm only here for like a week, and then I've got quite the bit of travel coming up. I got a party in Key West leading right into Vegas for a few days. So yeah, it's going to be October is going to be wild. So
I don't know how you got that gig. That's good though, that you can do all that traveling with that you got a travel budget and time to take these trips while you're killing it with these models. I don't even know. But before we get to that, were you at Delco? You said this weekend you were at Delco with a bunch of Eagles fans. What were you doing this weekend?
Look, it was my best friend's birthday. Shout out Joey. He had a little watch party. He's a dad now. So
okay.
Get to go hang out with the kids a little bit, watch the Eagles. A lot of curse words were said during the beginning of that game. So it wasn't exactly kid friendly. It was very frustrating, but yeah, we're out in Delco. If you know what Delco is, it's where you hear the true accent. It's all out Delco. So it's it's a good place to go watch a game. But man, I can talk all episode about the Eagles. I won't. But my God, it is bleak. It is bleak.
Can you dial up the Delco accent? Can you get there quickly?
Oh man,
on the spot. Just say water for me. Did you just say water?
Water.
Water.
All the Philly Johns.
Water.
The Philly Johns. Everything's a Philly John.
I can say John. It's Go Birds, really. The Go Birds.
You hear that? Well, I mean, that game was so interesting because in the first half, I think every, sorry, Will, but I think I won't say that word, but every MFer drop word was said by Philadelphia fans to Nick Sirianni. Like it was all over Twitter. I mean, all of our boys in Philadelphia, everyone I follow on Philly was like, fire Sirianni. Even the media was like, I've seen enough. This is it. He's lost this team. And then Saquon went ballistic in the second half and ran all over the Saints defense and had a couple of old school throwback Saquon Barkley type of runs that reminded you of what he can do when he's healthy, so much so that he was almost crying on the sidelines because he was so emotional for the performance that he had against the Saints. So coming out of that game, you win the game, you cover and win, but the first half was so bad. So which one is it? The second half Eagles or the first half Eagles? What's the takeaway?
We're the first half Eagles, for sure. I don't understand. It's kind of like I keep talking about the Falcons and how they don't use like a Bijan Robinson or Kyle Pitts the way they should. Honestly, I feel like that's how the Eagles were. I think finally they got Dallas Goedert involved. I don't know what's taken 3 weeks for that to be the case, but especially with AJ Brown out, you got to throw to a guy that's a big target and that can get up the field a little bit. But it's just so uninspired. Like that was my biggest thing last year. The play calling was so uninspired. Everybody looks hesitant. The only thing you have to hope for is a big breakaway run like a Saquon, right? Like you need a big play like that. I mean, the fact that we won that game is insane in general. Like I almost wanted to lose. Not that sounds bad. I expected to lose because we played so poorly. And I think more would have been done had we lost that game. I'm worried that the Eagles are going to take a win and just keep trying to do the same thing and either keep getting away with these like weak wins, or they're just going to keep being very mediocre and it's going to be a long season.
The defense was so good. I think, the takeaway is that the defense is alive. They were a dog. And we were just talking about they were the dogs have not only, we just said it, they win the games. They don't just cover the spread. The Eagles, I thought, was going to fall there without them actually winning the game, and then things fell into place at the end. But how'd the rhythm stuff do over the weekend with the dogs, Mr. Santore?
It's been a hell of a season for the dogs so far, and for rhythm, predicting the dogs. But for me, again, like with the Eagles, I don't like betting on my favorite teams, and especially I'm very pessimistic, right? I'm like, they're going to do exactly what they did. But yesterday was actually one of those examples of rhythm telling me I should be taking the Eagles on both the spread and the money line. That worked out. So I'm glad that I listened to the data, and the robots are a little bit smarter than myself. And again, they said the same thing last week with the Falcons, right? So this has been something that, again, I'm starting to really understand my models and what's good, what's bad. But overall, for week 3 in general, we were at 11.6% ROI across all bet types. But for the season, for week 3 total for money line, 56.5% ROI across 1,400 bets on the money line. So that shows you that Rhythm's finding the dogs and predicting the dogs, and people are taking them. So again, it's a way, because again, if you're just looking at a game, you're going to think of it like chalk, right? If you're looking at the Bucs should destroy the Broncos, right? That's not what Rhythm was telling us. It was giving you saying, hey, there's something here that says the Broncos have a chance. Broncos go and kick some ass. If you bet on that, you win some serious money. And Rhythm was
because see, that like I said before you came on, but that's how I got to the Broncos bet, because the Sean Payton stat was incredible. Sean Payton is the most profitable coach. Right, I'll put the stat on the screen. It's crazy because Sean Payton is a guy that I was like, okay, we got the Sean Payton stat, and so and then I looked at the game, and then the Rhythm model came back and said +6.5, and I was like, okay, that's another it's confirmation bias, but that's how I got to the bet with the Broncos. And I mean, it feels like more and more people are looking at that. And I didn't bet the money line. I just bet it, or I sprinkled the money line, but I didn't bet it fully on the money line. What do you make of this? Does it continue? Because will the model adjust when it comes to the numbers? Will it still always be favoring the dogs, or will it adjust to go to the favorite?
I mean, it's not about the dogs necessarily. It's about the matchups, right? And I think that's the beauty of the data. It's taking into account all of the data that we're receiving on a week by week basis, and then making the best adjustments to give you the best predictions. So again, I think that's something that, again, like the Vikings, I'm sure the Vikings predictions compared to where they were week 1 will be a little different now that they're 3-0 and they're looking pretty damn good. But again, that's the value of an app like Rhythm. It takes all those biases away and it makes you just go based off the data. So again, I think it's been great for me so far. Again, last week I didn't have as great of a week as I'd wanted to on NFL. Readjusted some of my models and had a phenomenal week. I went 11-6-1, and again, pretty much all dogs hit for me this weekend, and it was awesome.
Yeah, it's good when you can look at something and maybe find like the Giants against the Browns, that another game where, and like my algorithm is my brain. Like I just kind of look at it and go, there's no way that Cleveland can be this big of a favorite over anybody right now. And I say, I got to take the Giants plus the points. When the dogs are bigger, does the rhythm models obviously lessen their chances of winning, or do you just kind of find that value? Like the size of the dog, what's that saying? It's not the fight in the dog, it's the size of the dog.
No, it's not the
fight. Whatever it is.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about.
Right. Yeah.
But size doesn't matter. Like what rhythm can do, and I mean size does matter, no matter what anybody says. It just matters a little. But it could be a 2-point dog like the Vikings or a 7-point dog like the Giants. It's rhythm's going to find it, right?
It's just trying to find value, right? And it's value. That's all. Jade out. That's just
Pause.
Comments are great right now. Thanks, Dave.
Focus.
It really is just dependent on the value, right? It's not about, again, the actual, like, I don't care if a team's favored by 9 points. If there's value in that line that the data is pointing out, then we're going to tell you that. So the win probability may not be 75%, but for a 9-point underdog to have a 45% chance to win, that's showing you that there's some sort of value there. So I think that's what, again, that's how I've been looking at things. And even away from just a betting perspective, as a sports fan, it's making me think about the games differently. Just understanding how predictive analytics is looking at the games from a non-biased perspective.
Well, I give you guys 2 shout outs because you guys helped me get the Denver bet right. And then the same thing happened with JMU, because I went into this. I've got friends of mine who are in the area, and they were telling me, look, JMU on the road at North Carolina, this Carolina defense is absolutely awful. Ooh. Mac Brown has lost the team, and that Mac Brown probably he hung on through the Drake May time, and players stuck around to play with Drake May. They were not playing for Mac Brown. So then Drake May leaves, and so does everyone else from Carolina, and JMU has a chance to go play a Super Bowl type of game for them. And the person was like, look, they're not going to win the game, but they're going to cover that 10.5-point number. Well, JMU hung 53 points on North Carolina, and they won the game by scoring 70 on Carolina. I was already going to bet it, but you guys on Rhythm pointed that out as well. That was one of the Rhythm plays. Get into the college a little bit, because there's so many football games on Saturday that you can look at and you could have different model projections for.
Yeah, well, first off, I think we can get the whole brigade and maybe put up 50 on UNC's defense with how awful they were last week. That was just like, I was at the gym and I was watching. I was like, oh, that's cool. JMU's up. And then I saw at halftime they had 50. I was like, am I reading this wrong?
School record.
They didn't get stopped one time.
Block kick for a touchdown. It was unbelievable.
Crazy. But yeah, it's funny. I said my buddy's birthday earlier. We were talking on Saturday before game started. And he's like, what are some of the best plays you have today? I was like, my models love JMU. I was like, my models love this game. I never would have even thought about betting that game, except when I see a type of underdog, it was really sticking out to me. So that was a fun one. We also had BYU, which was a big.
Oh, nice.
Michigan as well. Again, overall, we were 7% ROI on the money line, 6.6% ROI on totals. And on the season so far, again, there's been almost 10,000 bets placed, but 5.4% ROI on college football as a whole. So again, we're really, really on fire right now, football in general, NFL and college football. Again, the best thing for college football, though, is, again, when you're sitting at a bar, you're sitting with your boys, and there's just so many games on, and being able to pull out your phone. And shout out to Adam Rosenberg here. But even like Adam Rosenberg was betting on LIU Brooklyn this weekend. Whoa. Didn't know they had a football team, but won a lot of money on them, and there's value there. Rhythm has a prediction on LIU Brooklyn, so...
What do you guys think in the future will be like? Will you guys get into first halves? Because one thing that Dave and I talked about, and I bet it every week, is that Tennessee is an absolute cash cow in the first half. They've covered every number. Josh Heupel is one of the best first half coaches in the last 6 years. And our guy, Evan Abram from the Action Network, uncovered that little nugget going into the season. And I've bet it every week, and it's hit every week. Do you guys think you'll ever get into first half for football in terms of modeling first halves?
There's a lot that we're going to be, getting into over the next few months, right? Like, we're still such a young company. And I think being really good at what we do right now it's indicative by those numbers I just mentioned, right? So I think next year, there's a lot more that we want to add and really break down every market, every type of prop, every type of, again, we just want to have every single thing that any bettor wants to see. So not yet, but I guarantee you at some point next year, we'll be talking a little bit more about that.
The games in college are really, I mean, there's a monster game this week, Georgia and Alabama. And I don't know if you guys have even looked at that yet, but we'll have a bunch, a lot of people are looking at this week, James, going, okay, Nebraska lost on Friday, and so did Syracuse. Sorry for both of you fan bases that watched Roll Call Friday, and we kind of told you.
I tried to warn you. I warned
everybody said it. He said it. Everybody said it. I tell people this all the time too, and you guys have done this as well with Rhythm. The game size doesn't matter. Like this is 2 versus 4. It's 1 unit.
Yeah.
You can find value there as much as you can on JMU. Have you run the model yet for Georgia and Alabama, sir?
Let me find for you. Let's see.
We can do it live. We're going to do it live right now. I'm just curious because it's going to be the most talked about game of the week.
Yeah.
Game day, everything's going there. Everybody's going there.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly,
I got nothing that jumps out at me. Like this is a game, again, I'm looking at this and none of my models are saying, go take this play. So This is one that, and again, this is something that throughout the week, as lines change, as everything changes, my models can change the recommendations as well. So what my models say
that's
right
what
now,
I was going to ask you. That's perfect. So like Monday, it's a no play. There's nothing there. Friday, run it again. It might indicate something's there, right?
Exactly. And this is something that, I mean, and honestly, day of is where you're going to get the best, you're going to see everything as is right before the game starts. And you can use Rhythm 5 minutes before the game, see what the most up-to-date prediction is. And then again, go.
But it goes the other way though, James. There's recommendations based on plays. Cause I've seen this where I've seen you have 3 green stars on your 3 models on Tuesday, and then the number moves. The projection is take the dog at +6. The number goes to 4.5, and you see that warning sign that's popped up, and it says don't take it, or now it says take the favorite. So that's what I like about the model is it doesn't just put it out there and stay. As the number moves, as the total moves, so does the projection and the algorithm saying whether or not there's value on the play. So it can go both ways, right? It's not just about, hey, on Tuesday it says don't take it, and then Saturday it does. It's the other way around too.
Yeah, it's literally, it's always factoring in the most up-to-date data, which is, again, great because I know, again, for somebody that's more advanced, they're probably going and checking the line movement, day to day. Rhythm does that for you. So it is always giving you the recommendation based off those most recent line movements.
It's very cool. The confirmation bias thing, are you finding more people are using it for that reason, or are they finding games like Adam Rosenberg that they never would have bet on before and they're firing in games like that?
It's a real mix, right? Like I think for somebody that's a bettor like myself that does it really for engagement, for social aspects, I just like being able to confidently say, yo, you want to know what the prediction is for that game? And somebody's like, why do you know about that game? I'm like, Rhythm. Like I love saying that just because it's a way more fun way to engage with any college football game. Let's say I doesn't have a football team. I don't have a favorite team. So now every team's my favorite team that Rhythm tells me to bet. But for a lot of other people that have like real opinions or, again, if you're a big Penn State person and you're not quite sure how to go about that game, Dave's reacting. I can see him. He heard Penn State. And he's
I did. You're going to be smirched Penn State? What are you saying?
It's James Franklin. I mean, I don't. No offense. I don't need a model to tell me James Franklin is going to cover, James, because I mean, the guy ran in a touchdown. He covered by running in a touchdown with 2 minutes to go when the opposing team didn't have a damn point.
Yeah,
didn't have a damn point.
Talked about that last week. They covered the 48. I know we talked about that.
Yeah.
It was like, ridiculous. Alumni used to be like, how many under the table handshakes is that guy getting after games?
In a row, Kent State lost to Tennessee 71-0, and then 56-0 to Penn State. 2 weeks in a row, they took an ass kicking, and the school got the money.
Did you see what our boys at the South Point have rated Kent State?
The worst in college football. They're the
30
worst
years.
team. Yeah, it's the
30 years.
There's no number you can make for that. Even there's no model for that. I mean, it's bad. All right, last one for me, sir. I mean, you mentioned Rosenberg. and you mentioned your travels and all this other stuff. So you're going to Key West next week? Is this or this weekend? And then you're coming to Vegas? Are we going to see you when you're in Vegas? And are you bringing Rosenberg?
Oh,
I'm gonna give you my rundown on my next few weeks because I think it's important. There's gonna be some good stories on the show.
Okay.
So this Saturday is the LaSalle baseball alumni game. Now,
at home.
This is at home. So the program got cut. First time back. I'll be in Philly this weekend. I'm going to be pitching. I don't know how the hell that's going to go. Hopefully,
1 inning.
Who knows?
You're on a pitch count, strict pitch count, Santore. We can't have you getting hurt before these trips. 25 pitches and you're out.
It's probably. I hope I can do 25. We'll see. But then the following Thursday, out to Key West. Key West for the whole weekend for a bachelor party. Come back home to Philly for a day, and then out to Vegas for G2E for 4 days. So I definitely should see you guys out there. Megan will be there too. Adam will be there. We'll have the whole squad. So it should be a great few days. So
unbelievable. All right, before I wrap on this, 2 games tonight. We have not talked about the props that Rhythm has. It's a little bit of a different thing. Could you guys actually just go ahead and recommend props? So if you're a prop bettor and you like to bet props, I have found some really nice nuggets in the prop market using the Rhythm model and the Rhythm algorithm to say what to play. Anything that you like tonight, either of the 4 teams, any props you like tonight, any play you like tonight on the 2 NFL games?
I have an absolute banger for everybody here.
Okay.
Absolute banger. Trevor Lawrence, over 15.5 rushing yards.
I've already bet that. Good. Okay.
Smash.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Tua had the most rushing yards in his career last week against the Bills. That's an Adam Rosenberg tidbit. Rhythm also backs that prop up. I mean, let's roll with it.
See, the crazy thing is that it's only 10:58 here, Pacific.
Yeah. Between
now and the kickoff of the game, every content provider is going to provide that exact prop. That's going to be on ESPN Bet. Aaron's going to have it. Somebody's going to have it. It's going to be on all over the place, James.
That
so
was
the book knows too.
Yes.
And that number is going to fly.
I bet it last night. That actually was we're doing something different with betting pros, but that's my hidden play for last night. You just gave out my hidden play for today's game. So I love that play. I'm all
about any of it. James just said smash it.
I'm with you. I think Lawrence runs the ball a ton tonight. I think the Jags might win the game outright tonight.
We got plenty of other prop bets. You can go download Rhythm. And again, prop bets, we have the data, graphs, everything you need to feel confident making some prop plays. But it's one of the more fun things to do is just to get some good prop bets in there.
Custom model powered by AI, backed by data scientists, MIT grads. We'll have Megan on here at some point to talk about the MIT graduates, and we'll give her flowers because she's way smarter than all of us combined. So we'll get her on at some point and how this whole thing came to be and the backstory. Because I heard it in Boston last time I was home. I had coffee with Megan, and the story's unbelievable. Yeah. How you guys got to this point, how the app was funded, how the app began. It was absolutely tremendous. James, thank you for the time. Really appreciate it. We'll catch up next week and hydrate, my friend. You're going to need it. You got to hydrate.
What time's the game on Saturday?
1:30. I'll send you a picture from the field. I'll send it to the brigade.
Absolutely. We need it before you pitch.
Tom, you see the Tommy John scar?
Oh, yeah. Oh, no.
Level 1.
Don't get another one. You don't need 2. You don't need 2 of them. That could be bad. My friend, thank you for being here. We appreciate it. James Santore from Rhythm joining us here on the Bostonian versus the book. We got Tommy the Lip coming on here in just 1 second, but Tommy needs to turn on his camera. So once he turns his camera on, then we'll throw him up to talk a little bit about the Buffalo Bills here. What did the room say about totals? You have to go and check it out, but they have a full totals for everything about what's going on. So you can go ahead and do that as what you want to do it. 16.5 at Circa for the rushing prop already. Wow, it's up a full yard. Okay, I got 15.5 for Trevor Lawrence.
The number higher, probably opened that.
Oh, it's now 17.5 on DK. So the climb begins as to Trevor Lawrence for his over on his rushing stats here for today on this. I got you, Tommy. No rush. You're all good. Whenever.
Just make sure he's wearing pants.
He's wearing pants. He seems very frantic today. So I think Tommy's nervous.
It's game day. We get this guy on game day. He gets very, very excited.
I think he's nervous. I think he might be a bit concerned about what's going to happen on this.
You can't get this guy nervous.
You can't get Tommy nervous. The lip back on BBB. What's up?
Yeah.
And where are you?
I got some shorts on today, so you guys are going to be happy with that.
Right.
I'm at Lifetime. I'm outside right here. Just going to grab a little, something to eat before the game tonight and get ready here. How you guys doing?
So Henderson, you're in the Henderson location of Lifetime, right?
Yeah, Green Valley's right over here to my right. Yeah, exactly. Yes,
because I go to the Summerlin version of
beautiful.
So I was like, where?
Hey, I want to give a shout out.
Okay,
you guys know what the gear is here, right?
What is that? What is that?
Don't know.
All right, hold on.
What is that?
Don't know.
Looks good.
Live tour.
Is that what that is?
It's the Live tour.
That's,
I was like,
that's the four aces. Dustin Johnson's team. They were, they came in second yesterday. In golf there. So, the end of their season for Live. I know everybody's, more toured into the PGA Tour and stuff. They were a long shot. Didn't have the season they were looking for. They were, I think, like 11th or something out of 13 teams. It's 4 guys. They play individually, as you know.
Right.
But they fought right down to the end there, and they got caught by the Rippers, the Australian team led by Cameron Smith and Lucas Herbert, some other good players out on that team, and they beat them. But shout out to Dustin and his crew. This is you remember who Travis Matthews is, that brand anyway. Yeah. The guy that ran over there came over to start Extracurricular, which is this is their gear there. That's super nice, comfortable and stuff and whatnot. So that's Dustin's brand there. So just a quick
that was an outstanding shout out. That was a good read.
Thank you.
And you got up and showed your ass, which it was.
Yeah, I always show my ass. You've seen it too many times, Dave.
Believe me, it's a lot of people are looking at that. Before we get to the football, are you a Live guy as far as the golf? Because the President's Cup is coming up, and I want to ask you about that at some point because I know there's going to be a lot of eyes on the President's Cup and a lot of plays that may come about it. But do you bet the Live?
Well, no, I stay away from it because I'm, the betting aspect of it because, I like Dustin and those guys. So you don't want to, cross paths with gambling on that type of stuff or whatever. So I stay away from the golf stuff. But to answer your question, Dave, I love the Live. And, I'm all for the players. The PGA Tour for a long time is, it's been a membership type of organization. You got, money. You have no idea where it's going. I mean, the players are the stars here. So I'm all for as much as they can get. It's backed by the Saudis and, we can get into the politics of anything, which we're not going to waste our time on at all. But,
thank you.
Thank you. So, I'm 100% behind them, Dave. Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Totally.
Let's talk football. Okay, let's talk
but
football.
Hold on. But the President's Cup too. They're not letting the Live guys play over here, which I think is ridiculous. Right. There's a lot of good players, Neiman and other stuff, best players in the world that could easily go fill that team and make it more of a competitive type of stuff. Because the President's Cup's been a complete bloodbath. I mean, I don't know how many in a row they've won. They're $4 or $5 favorites almost every year. I mean, it hasn't even been competitive. So to take some of the best players in the world out of it makes zero sense to me.
Fair.
Yeah.
Your team tonight, okay? Your team tonight is favored. Favorites have been
Buffalo.
Not great, okay?
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about your team tonight? Because I and some others are not so confident your team's going to win and cover this. I need you guys to do this because my girlfriend's 4-0 in the circuit contest. She's on Buffalo. Laid the 5.5. Okay.
Good for her. I need her picks if she's 4-0 coming into the night.
Right.
Shout out to her.
She'll be 5-0. She's on Buffalo tonight. She'll be 5-0 if the Bills win and cover. Are the Bills winning and covering?
So I think an underrated, aspect of Buffalo that people better get used to is the offensive line. I mean, it's a really good offensive line. We've never been able to run against Jacksonville. We've had problems with Jacksonville. They've had our number. But I feel like our offensive line is going to be able to establish what we want to do, especially at home. It's we've talked about 17 in the past. We know the superstar that he is there. So I think they're going to come out and just, the same thing. I want the play calls in fast, in here and be able to move the ball more at will than they have in the past against Jacksonville because of the offensive line being at home and those things. You move over to the defensive side for Buffalo, and there's some concerns here for sure. I mean, you have Bernard out, Milano out. We're going to have Taron Johnson sitting again in this game here. So you have pieces coming in, but the guys that are coming in are playing at a very high level. Sean's a defensive coach. I don't think he got enough credit last week against Miami. We know what happened with Tua, but early he went for the 4th down conversion instead of trying to take the 3. I think he's trying to turn the corner a little bit and, understand that you've got to be innovative and do things in that regard. Trevor Lawrence hasn't won a game in, 7 starts or 8 starts? something in that regard. I don't think that their locker room is completely, together. It doesn't sound like he's happy. Evan Ingram's going to sit here and whatnot. I don't have a play on the game at all, but I mean, it could go either way. It could be a blowout, could be a competitive game, but I don't see Jacksonville beating Buffalo.
Oh, okay. Well,
what do you? Lane. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, if Buffalo wins, they're 3-0, and that would join Seattle, Minnesota, Kansas City, of course, and the Pittsburgh Steelers. There's a lot of things that have happened in the first couple weeks of the season where dogs are winning, not just covering the spread, they're winning outright. And the Survivor contest has been a smash job. I mean, people are getting crushed. The field has thinned out already to 1,600 prior to tonight's game with the Bengals. Okay? We'll get to that in a second. Buffalo, Jacksonville. Is there a teaser play that people, because I think the inclination is to take Jacksonville up and take the total under. That's pretty much what everybody's looking at, no?
Yeah, for me, it's no teaser. You know me, Dave. I like to move through 3 and 7 and use that system for what I'm doing there and lay 110 if you have to at minus 120. No teaser play for me at all in regards to that game. I mean, for the game itself here for Buffalo, there's a lot of motivation. I came on the show the other day and I said that I'm not really sold on the Jets at all with Aaron Rodgers and stuff. And he's moved up in the end.
Are you now? After they just kicked the Patriots' ass, you didn't change your
No, I'm not.
opinion
No, I'm not. I mean, they beat the Titans in a tight game there. I mean, we've seen what happened with them. Their schedule is pretty favorable. I mean, the Jets, they get Denver at home next week? I'm sure they're going to look like a juggernaut then. Yeah. That's fine. Let's get later on into the season and see if Rodgers can stand up and take the hits and do what they're doing. They're probably a fringe of a playoff team. They get in there with Miami's problems at this point. Sure, but Buffalo, I think they have bigger, goals in regards to that kind of stuff. We're going to get some linebackers back, some other players, as we mentioned. We have 17, so
Miami's toast, and New England's only going to win 4 or 5 games. I mean, this is every game that Buffalo plays is another step closer to winning the division.
Sure.
Right?
Is Miami are they toast though? I mean, if Tua comes back in 2 or 3 weeks, we may see the same regular season team that can beat teams and do those types of stuff and whatnot. So some of the games may not be as easy for the Jets in that regard within the division. I'm saying is the way that I see it. But I don't see a lot of juggernauts in the AFC as I've seen in the past. Houston fell on their face last night. I like them a lot long term. I'm huge on them. We'll see what happens with the Cincinnati game tonight. I think they could turn the corner here pretty quick. I was rough on them, but yeah, it's the Survivor in Cincinnati tonight and Buffalo, and that's about where we're at. Where's your head at with everything with what's going on?
Well, we just I'm trying to put out fires. I'm getting texts from people that went, I'm out. I came in bought 5 entries and 2 weeks I'm out.
Hey, listen. Yeah, well, that's no good, but I will say this. I got a text from you last night, Dave, about a show that you put out. I think there were about 7 or 8 picks, and I don't think that you gave out a loser. So, people are looking for your shit right now, if you understand what I'm saying.
This is part of the problem. I put it out, and then it comes back, and then people are asking me, and I have Cincinnati -8 in that.
Okay.
Now, I picked it
you
before.
Like
Go ahead.
I'm listeing.
I'm listening. I like Cincy to win the game. And as soon as I go, okay, they're going to win the game. Now that maybe they don't cover. Would you be surprised more? I know the answer to this question. Jacksonville win outright or Washington win outright, Lip?
Well, more surprised by Washington. They have probably the top 2, 3, maybe number 1 worst defense in football. This defense is a.
Uh-oh.
Oh no, he crashed. He got a notification. We can see if we can come back. But he's right about that because it's one thing that I've done this morning when I've started to just look around and things, I bet overnight a lot and then I started to pull up numbers. He's not wrong. Joe Burrow, I bet it last night and I think I need to go ahead and get out of it because I have Joe Burrow in under 1.5 touchdown tosses tonight. And I think I need to get out of it because I just going and looking at the numbers for the Washington secondary, they are horrific. I mean, their cornerbacks, they can't guard me and you. And T. Higgins, I mean, I think having Higgins come back, I think you're on. I think I'm on the over already, but I think I'm gonna add in on the Bengals -8 as well, or 7.5 now. I think this could be an absolute destruction. Bengals might hang 30 on them.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I looked at last week before I sent the picks into the Bettis show. I'm going to post it on my Twitter at SportsBK and say after we do this show.
Okay.
But I think this is Cincy's get-right game.
Okay.
Like that, they went toe-to-toe with Kansas City. For me, them not winning the game is one thing, but they got right there. I mean, they hung, and it just didn't come away with a win, but now they add T. Higgins back. Like, the offense is going to score. I like the over.
Yeah, I'm on the over too. Yeah, I bet the over first, and I think I'm going to double down with favorite in the over, kind of correlate the two of them.
Yeah.
Tyrone, this is something that it needs to be talked about for a second, because why would you expect people to hang on in Survivor? No one's expecting people to hang on in Survivor, but it's a contest, right? And I think when you have 14,200 entries, you don't expect it to be down to 1,630 before we play 2 games tonight in week 3. So I don't think anyone's expecting people to, quote, hang on. It's just the fact that we have seen more people go out in the first 2 weeks to 3 weeks of this tournament that played the entire thing last year. So that's a surprise to all of this. It's just the shrinking in 3 weeks down to a very small number of people who are alive still in it. So,
well, yeah, but I mean, you have to understand. I mean, some people lose and never want to hear about it again.
Yeah, fair.
Like that's the other part of just the gambling business in general. People love to hear about the winners. They love to hear about the losers more. You give picks and they like to tell you more about the games you lost than you did. Are you back?
Yeah, my bad. Listen, my phone went temperature off. It was outside. It's still that hot in Vegas. Are you fucking kidding me? My phone went off. So I had to walk, or my language again, sorry. So I had to walk inside. I did catch you guys with the Survivor, so I want to tell you quickly where I am with it. I bought in for, several, not the max, but I'm down to 3 coming in. I used 2 on the Jets. Jets was a strong play for us on Thursday. We knew that, basically we were only going to have, probably 8-10, percentage of the pool. And you got to, Matt, too, you got to play this as I play it aggressively. You know what I mean? I'm not playing like, oh, let's all, together on the same side. We're going out together. No. Take that. I had 3 left entering the week, took 2 there, debated kind of stuff or whatever. I originally, when the schedule came out, I wanted to get rid of Tampa Bay here. I thought that was a great move, but they played 84 plays on defense last week with a ton of players out. How are you supposed to play that? We saw Denver was a sharp play there. Happy with that. So I ended up coming on with Cincinnati tonight. I've got all my teasers that I have, the sides that came in, got the backdoor Chicago as bad as they look, to be able to get that side of it in. Nice. All tied in here with Cincinnati. Yeah, thanks. With Cincinnati here laying the 1 with Ty's push. So basically looking for the teasers to close off my night. As I mentioned, nothing on Buffalo in that game there, but I don't know if I'm rooting for Cincinnati to get bounced here to keep 1 and, probably keep the other 2. I almost would rather just see Cincinnati get knocked out, but I got teasers and money on it, Dave. You know how it is. The problems that we have.
That's a good point. So I've done the same game teaser for the Jags game. I haven't same game teased the Bengals. So which way are you going? Bengals down to 2 and taking the total down and going over?
Oh, always 100%. You have to tease through the 3 and the 7. It's the only way that you make a real NFL play worth the value of what you're supposed to do. You have to go through both. So it's obviously above that, the number now 7.5, 8, what it was at some shops, 7, whatnot. You're going to buy it down in that regard. When it's on 7, they say you probably shouldn't do it as well. But, fortunate in my world and stuff, I'm laying a lot of -110 on teasers. We're in town here. I don't even know what it is. Fuck, what is it, a quarter? The best you can get? Is there 20s? 30. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah, that's well, it's a shame. I mean, these places around here and stuff like that, they're taking advantage of, the players. And you guys, I watch your show and, you educate people probably better than anyone on the planet in this regard. And these places are going to go out of business and do stuff. You have to innovate and come in. The customer is getting smarter, and whatnot.
Why is DK still at -120? I'm always stunned when I come here and I'm in New Hampshire and Massachusetts. DK's at -120. Like they get ripped. We rip DK all the time, but they have the best price teaser in America for what I can see.
Where you could post up money, yes, yeah. I mean, more or less for sure. Yeah. I mean, some of these shops, even if they took shops and charge you -15, the 3-7 kind of stuff. They didn't want you to tease through it, and they did like Pinnacle, where they just shove you on a 7.5 that you're teasing down, and okay, you're teasing down to lay 3, but you get the full number the other way, vice versa. You're teasing up. You're not getting the 8 anymore, the 8.5. You're getting the 7. Ties push kind of stuff. So there are ways around it, but I mean the vig and stuff like that. I mean, you gotta take care of these people, right?
Yes,
take care of the people.
You got to take care of the people. Speaking of take care of the people, last one for me, sir.
Yep.
Are you going to be down at the joint tonight? And are you going to be in Buffalo stuff? Because as soon as I finish the pregame show on Sports Grid tonight, I'm going to come down and join you if you're going to be there.
Well, 100% we're going to be down there. I mean, we got another guy in town that's doing that. I'm going to go out and practice golf today, right after this. I've already got my workout in. All right, Matt, you're more than welcome to come down, and you always have an invitation.
I'm in New Hampshire.
I know. How's my golf? Is my golf swing looking pretty good? I'm trying to get more through the ball. I want to get through it.
Tommy, you're tall.
No,
golf
I mean, but most people they get stuck. I know the stomach. It's when I'm eating is good.
You look good.
I look like shit. But that's all right. Here, I can hold it in.
All right, so
let's go. They got to lose weight.
I'm going to see you tonight.
Yeah, we'll be. Yep, going to be down there. We got a nice crew tonight coming down. Anybody rooting for the wrong Jacksonville? I mean, me. I'm loud, obnoxious, and I don't handle it. But you guys, come on down. Love to have you guys down, man.
Tommy, you're the best, man. We'll look forward to talking to you down the line. All right, appreciate you coming on.
Thanks, guys.
Go
Appreciate
Bills!
it.
One and only Tommy the Lip joining us here on the Bostonian versus the Book. Great to get him on the program. I'm sure that woman on the treadmill loved the fact that she was on national TV. She didn't even know it.
That's all right.
That's all right. I love that. He's walking. Hey, by the way, you got an interview going on.
His phone overheated.
Yeah, it's not. Hey, it's hot, man.
What's
it's
the
cold
weather
here.
like there?
Cold, but it's nice. It's just 65 and sunny. It's fall.
Yeah.
It feels like fall. Just feels like how it was when I used to grow up. When I grew up here. It's just I know this mid-September weather. It's football weather. It feels like football. That's what it feels like.
Did you go pick apples yet?
No, I don't think we're going to go do that. I think so.
What?
I think that's off the table. So I think I will be avoiding that. I'm going to a doctor tomorrow instead. So
get the back looked at?
Yeah, I'm going to a spine specialist tomorrow. So,
Good.
Yeah. So I have a back appointment tomorrow to go and see.
How was the flight?
Flight was okay. Flight wasn't bad. Did
you lock up at all on the flight?
No. I have no more problems with that. The only thing I cannot do is I can't how I heard it. If I swing a golf club, if I make that swing motion, no way. I can't. My back screams in pain. Okay. So I heard it swinging a golf club, and it's the one thing I want to do more than anything right now. And it's my body. I can lift for the most part. I can't really bench, but I can do some weight training. I can walk. I can do the elliptical. So I can work out. I just can't do anything with the spine twist. If I do that, I can't do it. So any type of swing, so I can't box, which sucks. Okay. So I really I can't hit the bag. Right. I can't box. I can't golf. So if I can figure out how to do that, so tomorrow we're going to go and see a spine specialist and figure out whether or not I'm going to have surgery for a herniated disc or not. So that would suck. The Vikings, you got the gear on. They win 34-7, but they might have lost Sam Darnold. Big MRI today, Dave, for Sam Darnold, but he had 4 touchdown passes yesterday. The Vikings are 3-0 with a combined score of 85-30.
Yeah.
You're buying the Vikings.
So far, so good. So far, so good. No joke. They're dogs this week. Again.
Yeah, 4. It's down though, right? It was 4. It opened. It's down to 2.5 already, right?
Yeah, I didn't see any 4s.
It crashed.
Yeah, that was. No, it was 3, 2.5, 3 openers at a lot of places. The look ahead might have had something different. But
there it is. No structural damage. Thanks, D Stout. You're excited. Thank God. He's excited. Every Viking fan was hanging on that MRI going, what's that knee? Yeah. It didn't look good. The knee injury didn't look good for Sam Darnold, but he seems to be fine. That's gigantic for them going forward. So big game against the Packers.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed. I watched a lot of the game yesterday. I really, really liked them. Liked the game under. Everything kind of worked out perfectly. And it was painfully evident in game. There are times you're looking at a game, like when you're going to make a play in game, or, I'm just watching, I'm on Sports Grid and we're doing in-game live, and I'm going, yeah, that's a Fugazi favorite. It's not, the game closed 7 and they scored first, so now they're 14.5. And you're like, yeah, I think I'd rather take the dog in that spot. There was not a time by the time I got into that game that I said, you know what, Houston's going to come back. It wasn't one time.
No. It stayed 14-0 for a while too. It didn't like move.
Right.
So like, all right, they score 14-7, and then it was 14-7. They scored and they scored right away. Vikings went down and scored 21-7. It was over. Like that was it. Like once they got that third touchdown, all she wrote. That's
actually when I stopped watching it.
Yeah.
I started really watching the other games, but
yeah.
that was on one of the boxes, and I was like,
bye-bye.
This is done.
Yeah, game over.
Very good.
Some wild stuff that comes out of the weekend. Maybe this is the wildest, though. Sam Darnold, talk about his resurrection. Andy Dalton is the only player in the NFL this year with 300 passing yards, 3 touchdowns in a victory, and he just did it against the Raiders on the road in his first start coming back after they benched Bryce Young. They go and give the ball to Andy Dalton, and he goes and rips apart the defense for the Raiders. What do you make of the red rifle there?
Veteran quarterbacks that can still physically perform the job when given an opportunity in a one-game basis can be successful.
Yep.
And he was very successful. So I don't think there's any you can't make a judgment that means Bryce Young stinks.
Yes, you can.
I don't think so.
I think you can.
I don't think so.
Oh, I think you can. I think Bryce Young will never play for the Panthers ever again.
Why?
That's it. Because he lost. They were furious in that locker room because of his play. They thought they had the pieces around to make a run. They think they've got talent. And by the looks of it, they do. Leggett is a legitimate deep threat. They've got a guy in Thielen who's a possession receiver. Their defense is not horrible. It can play at times, and if they get rest because the offense stays on the field and gives the defense time to rest, you saw it yesterday as to what they did to Gardner Minshew. Like, I don't think Bryce Young, I think he's traded. I think either in the offseason or now, probably in the offseason, but I don't expect Bryce Young to ever start a game again for the Panthers. That's it. I mean, Andy Dalton's going to be the quarterback of this team for the rest of the year, provided he stays healthy. Those veterans wanted Andy Dalton. That's a brand new GM and a brand new coaching staff. And they listened to the players who said, look, you guys may have invested all this capital to go and draft this kid. This kid can't play. This kid, he can't play. And look, maybe Bryce Young needs to go somewhere else. Sam Darnold bounced around to all different places, and he has finally found a home here in Minnesota. It's year 7, by the way, for Sam Darnold. Year 7. So it may be a while before Bryce Young can figure out whether he's a quarterback in the league, a starting quarterback in the league. But that was the worst case situation for Bryce Young for his career, is to have them go hang 36 points in a blowout on the road against a Raider team that beat the Ravens on the road the week prior.
Yeah. I don't think it indicates any of that.
Okay.
No. I think Carolina's a 6-point dog at home right now. Look ahead number to Cincinnati.
Well, yeah, that's the Bengals, though. I don't care who. I mean, that's just the Bengals should win tonight, like we're talking about, and then move on there and win there.
If Andy Dalton gets hurt in the first quarter, Bryce Young's going to come back out.
Well, that's not what I said.
I mean, the locker room's not going to play?
That's what I said. I said, provided he stays healthy. If if Andy Dalton stays healthy, Andy Dalton's your quarterback the rest of the year. He's rest of the year.
It's week 3.
He's the rest
of year judgments already?
If healthy, yes.
Because they beat the Raiders on the road?
This is a new coaching staff. This is a new front office. They're looking for things to go for in the future. They're evaluating the players on that roster. Do we want to keep them or not? They're not going anywhere. They're not going to be in the postseason, but a lot of people like that roster. Look at the people who bet over on the Panthers for their win total this year. There's a reason for that. The roster has talent. So, new coach, roster with some talent, and a quarterback who couldn't play. Now you have a competent quarterback. So, the Panthers are going to try to evaluate everyone. But I think they've done their evaluation on Bryce Young. Teams are calling about Bryce Young. They want to go and draft. They want to trade for him. Up to this point, the Panthers have just said no because they don't like the offer yet. But when they get an offer that's good enough, I think they will trade him. I think Bryce Young will be traded. And most likely he gets traded in the offseason because in-season trades in the NFL tend to not actually happen.
I don't know. It's crazy how you can make all those judgments that quickly. But I mean,
Davey has 2 wins in 2 years. I'm not making any judgments. I'm talking about 2
years.
years.
1 year and 2 games.
Yeah, he's got 2
1
wins.
year and 2 games. Yeah.
So he's
Justin Fields had a rough start, didn't he?
Justin Fields didn't have the same situation.
No.
And where's Justin Fields now?
Well,
he's not with the team that drafted him. So Justin
I
Fields,
can
the
think
Bears
of
gave up on him.
100 guys who have had this same situation.
And the team gives up on him. And maybe he goes somewhere else and actually plays better. I'm not talking about Bryce Young, the player. I'm talking about Bryce Young in Carolina. Bryce Young in Carolina is over. I don't believe he will ever play for them ever again.
I think it's a little early to make that absolute statement.
It's over. I think he could have a great career somewhere else. Justin Fields is now 3-0 with the Steelers. Great.
So the Andy Dalton Part 2 era has started in Carolina.
Yes.
Yeah. Ian lights out. Panthers fan here. Bryce stinks. They all stink. They all stink. I mean, they had how many coaches last year? First year, 2 coaches, right?
Yeah, but this is
clean out.
But this is the problem, right? Bryce Young didn't get a fair chance. It truly fell apart because it's true. Because they're like, well, it's the players around him.
Last week, Bo Nix was never going to be an NFL quarterback. This week, Bo Nix is going to lead Denver to a playoff chance.
I think it's a different situation. I think it's a totally different set of circumstances because
I think a lot
Sean
of people
Payton
like to say a lot
handpicked Bo
of
Nix.
bullshit.
I think Sean Payton. Remember, the coaching staff didn't draft him. This is not their guy. Bryce Young is not the coaching staff's. They don't have any allegiance to Bryce Young in Carolina. It's all new. So when it came to what happened in Denver, what's going on with Sean Payton, he picked Bo Nix. You have the head coach who hand-selected Bo Nix. This is my guy. So he stands. You gave a ton of draft capital to go get Sean Payton. So he's tied to Bo Nix. Bo Nix isn't going anywhere. Those 2 guys are going to go together.
Payton won a Super Bowl too. Don't
Correct.
forget.
That's my point.
Yeah.
There's nobody in Carolina that's tied to Bryce Young like that. There's nobody standing on a table for Bryce Young saying, we want Bryce Young here. Everyone's new. They all want their own fair shot. And so they just benched a guy and scored 36 points. The second they benched him, they look like a competent football team.
Right.
So that's really bad for Bryce Young and where he goes with the Panthers. He may go somewhere else and be tremendous. It's just we've seen numerous first-round pick quarterbacks. You just mentioned Justin Fields being the most recent. New coaching staff, more stability, better players around him, and a belief. Justin Fields has that locker room in Pittsburgh. They believe in him. Russell Wilson's not going to be the quarterback anytime soon.
Right.
So he needs to go to a place where he can develop like that and have a team really invest in him.
Why can't he be the backup? That's what I'm saying.
He's a former first-round. He's a first-round pick that you gave up 2 first-round picks, a talented player for.
If he could be the backup right
he's getting
now,
paid too much money. He's getting paid too much money. He was
Love
the first pick.
Worked out for Jordan Love
because he's sat. You can't have that guy sit there and burning. You had a chance to let Jordan Love sit behind Aaron Rodgers. Like that made. I mean, it was easy. You don't have Andy Dalton's Aaron Rodgers in this situation. I don't think the team is even that committed to Andy Dalton. I don't think Andy Dalton's the quarterback next year for the Panthers. He's just the quarterback right now as they go. So I look, Andy Dalton could very well be gone off this roster relatively fast. And they may bring in, I think they'll draft a quarterback next year and maybe they keep Dalton as, the bridge guy. But this is more an indictment as to how that locker room is around Bryce Young for the 20 games he played. Things did not go well for him.
I don't know.
He's on the Trey. That's possible, right? But Trey Lance stinks now too, though. And Trey Lance is a backup quarterback with the Cowboys, and he's not getting on the field. So you're backing up Dak. So yeah, It could be on the. He looks like Trey Lance to me. Yeah, he looks at the game's too fast. He's too short. He can't do what Kyler Murray does. I mean, Kyler's too short too, but Kyler does amazing things with his legs to get open. So, and there's a big question mark: will Kyler Murray ever lead a team to a playoff berth? Will he ever be, what they thought he was going to be when they took him number 1 overall? So, a lot of questions with.
I just think there's a lot of NFL personnel people disguised as media people that need to relax and, not know exactly what's going on in offices. I hear that talk on other stuff and I just turn it off because it's like, you have no idea what you're talking about.
The record's there. I don't know. The record's there. I mean, the evidence, you can be optimistic if you want, but there's absolutely no evidence you have to say that. Like there's nothing you can say about Bryce Young.
I'm not pessimistic. I'm just looking at it from a point of view of what's next week's game. That's all I'm looking at. Next week's game. And then I'm looking at, did anything I saw in that game make me say, well, Carolina is now a real contender for the division?
I don't know.
I thought the indictment to take away was that the Raiders, after taking down the Ravens on the road,
are awful. I bet under the win total. Because that's what they are. That's what they really are. Again, they should have lost the game.
What was that?
The Ravens win was given to them. That was a gift. That pass interference call in the end zone never should have happened. The Ravens overlooked them. The Ravens did not take them seriously, and the referees helped the Raiders win that game in Baltimore. The Raiders are not good. They're a bad football team. And
you want to talk about a little discontent there?
Yes.
Did you hear the post game?
They should be. I mean, look, if I'm Devontae Adams, I'm looking around going, why am I here? Like, why am I here? Look, why am I on this roster? Like, get me out of here. Like, I don't need to be here. You guys can't run a competent, again, this is, I'll keep on going back to this, but Adam Hill, who I love, came on this show. And when everything was so high around Antonio Pierce, and Adam said, I don't know, guys. Like, everyone really is high on this guy, but there's a lot of people asking some pretty big questions about whether or not this guy can actually do this for a whole season. He can do it in a snippet. He can do it in the interim. Can he build it on his own when he's the guy? Up to this point, the jury is still very much out.
I mean, the post game, Antonio Pierce said some people made some business decisions out there, and we're going to make some business decisions this week. And I was like, what does that mean? Yeah, that was the quote of the day yesterday, Ross Randall. I saw it. I think it got played all over, and I was like, oh, wow. All right. I don't know who that meant.
Right. Somebody got that. Somebody got that thrown at them. And whether it be the quarterback, whether it be the wide receiver, running back, DB or something, linebacker or whatever, things are not good for the Raiders right now. Things are going bad right now, and it could get bad, really bad in a hurry. Yeah. We mentioned the Denver Broncos win over Tampa, 6.5. Sean Payton is now 23-9-1 against the number in weeks 3 and week 4. That is the best mark all time of any coach. So in the NFL through weeks 3 and 4, can Denver do it again this weekend? Keep it rolling.
They go to the Jets. They play in the Meadowlands on Sunday.
I think they can cover. I don't know if they win, but I think they can cover back to back. Second game on the road for a second week is always a fade, though.
The line is 7. It was 8. It's gone.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense. They always do that. They take the dog in the situation, grab the points because that's probably the higher number.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to go back over 7. It'll sit at 7 pretty much all week, and then news comes or something. But is Denver the second best team in the division?
I don't know.
Kansas City's 1. I mean,
obviously.
I think the Raiders are
Chargers might be. Chargers might be the second best team in the division. I think yesterday got away from them because the Herbert injury derailed everything. It was 10-10. Chargers could have won that game yesterday. And then you get Herbert injured in the third quarter. It's 10-10. He walks off the field and they couldn't move the ball to save their life with backups in that game.
It's such a thing when you watch it. Having a capable backup in all positions is important, but having a capable backup in a quarterback position is vital. And that's why I think, it's caution to the wind. Don't ship them out. Just change a quarterback. Like, sometimes it's okay to have a backup that's a good is just struggling because he's going to have to go back in. If Justin Herbert doesn't play quarterback for the Chargers, they are in deep
trouble.
Dog doo-doo.
Yeah. And I mean, I think if you give Harbaugh a full week to get a quarterback ready, I think the quarterback would look better than what the backups did yesterday, because the backups couldn't see. I mean, you guys had guys off the edge. Those blitzes. I mean, I felt bad for the kid. He had no shot. Like, he didn't know where the blitz was coming from. He didn't know which side to check to or where to move the protection over. He just got they couldn't get a first down, let alone score with a backup quarterback in the game. They weren't doing anything. That defense for Pittsburgh ate their lunch. So Herbert stays in the game. They may have won. So I still think the Chargers are the second best team, but Denver, that's a big win. But I think it has more to do with the coaching mismatch. I think Peyton just completely destroyed Todd Bowles yesterday. And Bo Nix looked good. I mean, Bo Nix didn't hurt his team. Bo Nix played well. Big win
it's
Broncos.
very different too when you see young quarterbacks playing with a lead versus having to come from behind, right?
Fair. Yep.
Like, because it didn't look like Denver was going to score 3 touchdowns all season when they were playing at home against Pittsburgh.
But it's also the Steeler defense.
I was going to say,
it's
you
also
have to
you
credit
guys.
the Steelers defense in that regard. But then they go to Tampa, and you're watching the game going, man, this is working. Like, this is – and there was a lot of orange in that game, and I don't know what that pewter color is, but that was a very odd mix of colors down there. And it never felt for a second like Tampa was the right side of the game at all.
I mean, it's 14-0. I mean, out of the chute, it was already. I mean, they went right down the field twice. It was 14-0, and that was it. I mean, Denver put Tampa on their heels, and they couldn't make adjustments. And that offense, much like, I mean, Baker's a very competent quarterback, but the week prior, riding high off that win against the Lions on the road. I mean, that's just the NFL in a nutshell. You know, Denver looked horrific. They go and win a game that the Bucs are coming off of a gigantic win on the road over the Lions. I mean, that's just the NFL. People just assume what I saw in week 2 will repeat in week 3. And that's the opposite of what that league is all about. That's why people love betting on it. That's why it's impossible to win money consistently in the NFL. You got to watch these numbers because it's really hard. I mean, look, Matt LaFleur, what a job against the Titans stink. The Raiders stink. I mean, there's just some teams I'm going to, at week 3, and I could be wrong. You can play this clip back if the Titans and the Raiders get good. But Matt LaFleur is 15-3 against the spread in weeks 1, 2, and 3. He's now 24-11 as a dog, as a head coach. He's the most profitable coach in the last 20 years in weeks 1, 2, and 3. And it was Malik Willis who went back to the Titans and did it to his former team.
Yeah. Gump tweeted that tweet again with that. I'm about to make my name here. So I just can't stop laughing every time he does it. I just retweeted it. It's so good. That's coaching. Like all the stuff about whatever and him and Rodgers, and maybe Rodgers didn't want to be coached at the time or whatever it was, and they finally were able to work it out where they got the 1 seed and then lost. I ain't worried about any of that. He took Malik Willis in back-to-back weeks and went on a road and won football games after losing his quarterback in Brazil.
Yep.
And the talk was, he's got to come back this week, and it's going to come back. And Sunday, you get the alert. Herbert's in. Love is out.
Yeah.
Line don't move. This line didn't move. Just sat there. A lot of people said, all right, this is the week the Titans. T. Sparks, if you're watching the show,
sorry.
I love the Levis jersey. But I can't wear that.
I can't stand Levis. Levis is horrible. He's awful.
Man, don't take care of the football.
It's the Callahans. We talked about this in the preseason.
Oh, my.
It's the Callahans. Okay.
This
is history repeating itself. Okay. You're asking one of the best running offenses in the NFL to just flip to a pass heavy offense with Will Levis throwing the football. I know you have great receivers. Great. Your quarterback's a problem.
Well, Green Bay capitalized on it.
Did they
we got the game of the week. I mean, this is one of the games of the week is Minnesota at Green Bay.
Awesome.
Green Bay's a small favorite.
I hope Love plays. I mean, look, Malik, great, but you got to say something about competent organizations. Like there are some very competent organizations in the NFL, and you can see a dramatic difference. And like, I know the Cowboys are sort of some people put the Cowboys into a competent. I don't.
Competent?
Like some people do. So it's like, it's Jerry Jones, a family top down. I don't. You look at the way the Cowboys are run, the way the Cowboys play, the way that they structure things and who they pay and who they don't. And then you look at the Steelers and you look at the Packers and you look at the way that they are run and you go, they had their guy in Matt LaFleur. They told Aaron Rodgers, you don't want to play for him. That's fine. They drafted Jordan Love. Said, Aaron, you don't want to be here. That's fine. They believe in their talent eval and they believe in their people. And they're right back to being a competent, well-coached, well-run organization with a quarterback they just invested heavily in. And the Packers are going to be a team to be talked about for the next decade. I mean, Matt LaFleur is a damn good coach. And
why
a lot of people like question
extend it out. Like, why do we have to talk about him for a decade? Let's talk
because
about
you can see it. Because you can see where they are. You can see what they have done. Matt LaFleur is not going anywhere. It's going to just like you guys with Mike Tomlin. Like Mike Tomlin hasn't had a losing season in his career at Pittsburgh.
It's incredible. I mean,
Okay?
and the people in Pittsburgh can't wait to rail him and run him out.
They want to throw him out, but that's the organization saying, or that's the Pittsburgh ownership, Pittsburgh who runs the team saying, guys, if we keep on changing like everybody else, we're going to be 5-12 like everybody else. We're not going to do that. We want to win. Some years we'll be 10-7. Some years we're going to be 9-8. Some years we're going to be 12-5. It just depends upon how things break for us. But we have our guy. We believe in our system. We believe in the process. And that shows itself when things get rocky. Those organizations that are even keeled and believe in themselves have been historically very good. The Packers, historically very good.
It's a metaphor for life.
In a lot of ways.
Once you pick your team, figure it out.
If
you're a team, you will. In sports, like wins and losses is how you measure it, but you got to be competitive. Sometimes bounces don't go your way. Sometimes you have a bad game or two. Sometimes the referees don't call an interference penalty in the end zone like last night when that was definitely interference on the Chiefs. But the Chiefs got another break. Surprise, surprise.
Right.
KC from KC. Chest out. Kansas City Chiefs win again.
If both those calls go the other way, that we're sitting here with a totally different narrative around the KC Chiefs.
I think they would have lost.
Both games. We have 2 losses through week 3, 1 and 2.
I'm
talking about the Chiefs a lot differently at 1 and 2.
Would have been not the end of the world, but they are 3-0. But sometimes you just I got a couple good ones, and I'm saving the second one for favorite thing about today because I met a kid yesterday who I have to shout out. Him and his wife hopefully are watching the show.
Okay.
But here's number 1: accept what you can change, accept what you can't change.
Right.
Change what you can accept. And I was like, that is the NFL. That is sports. That is being a parent. That is, doing a business, getting sponsors. You can say certain things, you can do certain things. It doesn't matter. You can pick all winners. Doesn't matter. You can pick all losers. It doesn't matter. You got to keep showing up. But the process, I was impressed with the process. No question. Green Bay, very good so far. Very good.
With 2 games to be played in week 3 tonight, there have been 42 field goals of at least 50 yards made this season.
Yeah.
That's the most 50-yard field goals made in any 3-week span in NFL history.
Yeah.
Not the first 3 weeks. In any 3-week span in the history of the NFL, including what Aubrey did in the game for the Cowboys, where the guy kicked a damn 65-yarder.
Yeah.
65-yard kick. Second longest in history.
Just
narrow the goalposts.
Do we have to do it? I don't know.
Narrow the goalposts. It's too easy.
It makes your case. I mean, it does that. It's so different. The game is changing right before our eyes.
But at the 50, you're in field goal range. That's never been the case. Even Tom Brady said it yesterday on the broadcast. He's like, the line of demarcation used to be a 52-yard field goal. That was the line that you thought, all right, I don't know if he can make a 53-yarder.
Right.
Now it's 62.
Right.
It's 10 yards back.
Which changes everything, right? Because players are bigger, faster, stronger.
Yeah.
You can't run the ball as well as you could, so you have to find new ways to run the ball. You have to do hook and ladders. Is it hook and lateral or hook and ladder?
It's hook and lateral, but it morphed into hook and ladder.
I like hook and ladder. When the Lions did it, it's so much fun to watch when it's executed perfectly.
Because the route is a hook and then it's a lateral.
Right.
So it's a hook and lateral, but it became hook and ladder because of fire departments. It's easier to say hook and ladder.
Yeah. Give the kids a poll.
All right.
What do they vote in that?
They're all going to vote hook. They're all going to say hook and ladder. Don't even need to vote.
Think so?
Everyone's going to hook and ladder. Yeah.
No, we got some very literal people here watching the show that will vote lateral. I think you'll be surprised. I think we'll get more lateral.
Okay.
But the kicking thing is interesting because as the game is changing with inability to run like they used to, so they went to the spread offenses and the passing, and now you can't play defense. You can't hit anybody too hard. There's targeting, there's this, that, all this stuff. The thing is knowing you got a guy who can boom it from 60 changes your play calling and changes the way you approach calls at that part of the field where you would have been more aggressive. Now I think you're more passive. And you're seeing them go, all right, it's 3rd and 7. Just don't get sacked because we can still kick a field goal, but we're not trying to get the first down. Like, we'll take the safe route, dump it off 3 yards, let the guy kick the 3. You may be onto something with narrowing the goalpost and making it harder, because I think the game, like baseball, is when it became strikeout, walk, or home run.
Yep.
I don't know if I want to see all these field goals.
It's ridiculous. It's a field goal kicking contest in a lot of ways. These kickers are just too good. It's just, it's shoots and ladders. Yeah. Did I spell that? I think I misspelled ladders.
Yeah, you put
L-A-T-T-D-D-R-S. Sorry. I was spelling too quickly. Sorry.
Right.
Sorry. I'm just doing
100 things going on at once.
Sorry, I apologize. But yes, you understand the question.
Yes.
This is a kind of an interesting stat from I talked about with Kansas City. The Chiefs have won their last 9 games by a combined 54 points, including the playoffs. That's the smallest combined margin of victory by any team that's won 9 games in a row in NFL history. Are they just getting breaks? Is this just because a lot of times you hear this in the gambling space? The luck of the ball will go against bad teams or good teams masquerading, bad teams masquerading as good teams because the coin flips. So far this year, they've had two big calls. Both have benefited them.
Yeah.
If they'd gone against them, they could be 1-2. Instead, they're 3-0. Where is Travis Kelce? Like what? APB on Travis Kelce. Where is the quote unquote best tight end of all time? Where is this dude? He is a non-factor.
It was so funny because even at one point, Jess said, "Is Travis Kelce playing?" Now because of everything else going on with the Chiefs and Taylor, and we watch the Chiefs like they're our own team now. It's great. I think it's to be noted, but I don't know if it means anything. Like, I don't know. Again, size matters sometimes.
I don't know.
Size doesn't matter.
It's just harder.
Winning is the only thing that matters, right?
Yeah, it's harder and harder. But look, Travis Kelce now is 18-3-1 against the spread as a 3-point favorite or less on the road or a neutral in his career. That's a stupid number. 18-3-1.
Wow.
I mean, that's just
you said Travis Kelce. You meant Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, sorry, Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is. Kelce. Well, I guess kind of Kelce would be too because Kelce's played in all the games, so
right,
he would be too. 18-3-1.
It is bizarre. Evan from Action Network put out a great stat yesterday about them in the first half. They've been trailing, I believe, it's 9 out of the last 10 games in the first half. Okay. And won and covered the second half. I did the waterfall gift last night when I was laughing because I was like, geez, is there anyone that's not going to bet Kansas City in the second half? And, they ended up covering, winning. Mm-hmm. Not sure it was the right side, but it won.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Do you think Travis is a decoy or is something going on there?
Oh, I think yes. Right now, he's more a decoy than not. He looks a little slower to me.
This is his last season. I've been saying this all along.
I know.
Travis is going to retire. And he wants to go for a three-peat, so he's hoping that Rashee Rice and the other guys can get the job done to go for a three-peat.
They're back to having that crazy team speed again.
Yep.
Rashee Rice looks like Tyreek Hill did.
He's flying.
I don't know if it's those uniforms or what.
No, he's really fast.
So fast.
Yeah, he should be suspended for this season, but he's really fast. I mean, it's he's lucky to be on the field, but they'll deal with that in the offseason as to whether or not what the legal thing runs out with him. But having him is tremendous. And
Mike Tallis just put it in the chat. KC is 11-2 ATS in the second half.
Unbelievable.
In their last 13. Thank you, Vitalis. Yeah, it's insane.
Mahomes has looked far from great. Their defense has been great.
Oh, their defense is the best thing about them other than Mahomes.
There it is. Mahomes is 3-10 against the first half spread, last 13 starts dating back to last season, but that's the second worst mark in the NFL. Bryce Young is the worst, 0-9.
Right? Thank you, CBW. Great job for posting that.
You flip it around.
Right. So 3-10 in the first half and 11-2 ATS in the second half.
And Rainmaker, there's something to be said for this.
This is true.
Atlanta was being dumb. Their play calling was stupid. Absolutely. But that's what happens when you play the Chiefs. You play great teams. This is what teams with the Patriots used to do all the time too. You get sped up. You don't think logically because it's the defending champs and it's Patrick Mahomes. And you're just like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? You just don't play right. You panic. And so you've got inexperienced coaches and you've got, Kirk Cousins isn't inexperienced, but you just have mistakes get made. Bad plays get called and the Chiefs defense can benefit. And then you get calls. At the end of the day, the Chiefs got a huge call in the end zone. That's what happens.
Yes, Rakesh P in the chat. So KC lost ATS in the first half against the spread is what ATS stands for.
Right.
And yes, they did not cover the first half.
Right.
Because they were favored.
We'll go to the NFL and later back to the NFL for tonight for picks for the game during Better to Book It. So we'll stick around for that. The latest AP poll is out. Still Texas number 1, Georgia 2, Bama 4. That's your game of the week. 2 versus 4 coming up here today.
I can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be a ton of fun to see what happens. The Vols are now a top 5 team. Ole Miss is a top 6 team. And number 12 coming in, Michigan, off their big win over USC.
Put that back up real quick.
Sure.
Make that bigger, please.
I can't make it bigger.
No, I'll make it bigger. Just put it back up. Texas, number 1. Georgia, number 2. Throw out the Buckeyes, number 3, because they're a Big Ten team. Number 4, Alabama. Number 5, Tennessee. Number 6, Ole Miss. Oh, thanks for throwing in Miami at 7. Oregon at 8.
Big Ten.
Penn State at 9. And what is that logo on the 10?
Utah. Yes.
Did somebody make a mistake?
No, Utah. Missouri being 11 is a mistake. They almost lost to Vandy.
Man, oh man, I got caught up watching that.
Yeah, Utah's not a top 10 team. Missouri's not a top 10 team, but it gets very thin after 9, in my opinion. You have 9 very good football teams right now, and those 9 will battle it out in the playoffs. But after 9, it gets very murky very fast.
Murky. Yeah.
And I'm not really in love with any of the teams from 10 on. I think it's sort of like just throw their names into a hat and go ahead and pull one out, because on any given Saturday, I think anybody could beat anybody from 10 to 25. Anybody could beat anybody on that list.
Yeah.
And that's college football. And that's kind of what they want. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see. Utah people can come on with Utah. I like Utah, but like their coach, like their style. Cam Rising's 8,000 years old, but he's there. But Michigan's up to 12. What do you make of that win for Michigan? USC, again, yet to win and cover a game since 2011 in the East Coast or Central time zones. They got some games coming up in the Big Ten. Is USC an auto fade?
No, I thought USC was going to win that game, but Michigan went. And as Klarchek will attest, he was texting me and saying, bully ball. Like they just went and they
one missed tackle from a win. Number 19 for USC. You make that tackle, game over. They win the game. He blows that tackle, 65-yard run, changed the entire game. Lost the game. That one tackle lost the game.
One play, literally. I'm not taking anything away from that game on the USC side.
Okay.
Like that was a tough game, tough spot for them.
Good second half for them. They came
Line was they played much better in the second half after getting really potential to get blown out in the first half, and it kind of made adjustments. Lincoln Riley, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Have to question maybe a little bit of, are they going to have that offense to lay one on teams like they used to with Caleb and with the other USC teams in the past? Like they used to put up big numbers, but that was Pac-12. It's not the Pac-12 anymore.
Mm-mm. No, and their defense is much better, but their offense may not be as good because of it.
Right.
So that's possible. Yeah,
exactly.
I'll give you that.
I'm not ready to put Michigan in the playoff yet.
I'm not either. It's a home game, must-win situation. They should have lost. Yeah, no, I'm not either. No. Michigan's offense is still a problem. They can run the ball. We know that, but throwing the football, oh boy, that looks like that OG guy he's not. He can't throw the ball. OG can't throw the ball.
That's fact.
Get the ball. So Imran's unbelievable athlete, but he can't throw the football for Michigan.
They're going to need time to build in a passing offense for that.
Without him on the field.
But that top 10, I mean, it's all SEC.
Pretty much.
I mean, I talked about it. I want to bet over number of SEC teams that get in a playoff.
What's it, 4 now?
I don't know. They're going to beat up each other, but they're still better. Like Georgia, Alabama's good. I cannot wait for that game on Saturday, and it's the same time as Illinois, Penn State. And I'm like,
oh, come on. It's not even, although I like Illinois. I don't know. Maybe Illinois covers.
Well, that's what
what's
I'm
the number? What's the number?
17.
Oh, perfect. Hammer Penn State.
Penn State's a 17 point
hammer.
favorite.
That's in the window. 6 to 24 points for James Franklin. That's the
17.
Window.
Yeah.
That's Franklin's magic number. 6 to 24 points.
But Georgia's a 2-point favorite at Bama.
Yeah, that's a war.
I can't wait to watch that game.
Yeah, it's
I don't know. I don't get as excited about the pro games, especially this early, as like a Georgia-Alabama game. Like last night, I'm going through the schedule, and I'm like, what time does that game start? My whole day Saturday is going to be dependent upon when that game's on. There's nothing that's happening in the NFL that I'm like, oh, I gotta watch.
Yeah, no. I mean, Packers, Vikings can be fun, but
Pittsburgh's going to Indy. You know, that's going to be a good game.
Mm-hmm.
The Chargers and the Chiefs.
Indy's not very good. I mean, Richardson's not very good.
Whoa. What?
No, Richardson, he can't throw. He's so inaccurate. He misses so many throws. Like, I watched a lot of that game. I watched a lot of the Colts game, and I was just like, this kid can't throw.
You watched a lot of Colts Bears?
I watched everything. I had 2 TVs. I had every game going.
Did she
I watched
like
them
it?
all. It was awesome, believable. I mean,
did she like it?
Oh, did Amanda like it? Yeah, she liked it a lot. She thought it was different.
Okay.
She hadn't had it before. So like, and now she's got her picks, and she has her picks for the contest. So like, she's watching, and she's trying to figure out what games are doing with what. And I watched Caleb because I'm invested in watching the Bears and Caleb Williams. I want to see what the kid looks like, and Caleb and both quarterbacks. I thought both quarterbacks played like crap. Both quarterbacks are walking turnovers right now.
Yeah.
I think Richardson's going to have 3 picks against the Steelers this week.
3?
Yeah. He's not going to he makes way too many mistakes. Like, you can bait him in the throws. He misses wide open receivers left and right. Like, he can't hit. He's got an incredible arm. He has no idea where the ball goes.
Yeah.
So, baseball portion of the show. Ohtani watch. The guy keeps on doing it.
So good.
Back-to-back walk-off. They were losing. Ohtani deep. Mookie goes deep.
Come on.
Walk it off 6-5 last night. How about this history? And we're always talking history on this with Ohtani watch, but this is pretty damn cool. This is in the last 4 games for Shohei Ohtani over the weekend. 14 hits, 13 RBIs, 6 steals, and 5 home runs. If every major league player since 1920 took the best 4-game span of their career in each category separately and put them together, still nobody could match what Shohei Ohtani just did in the last 4 games. Let me say that again. If you take every single player since 1920, when the RBI became an official stat, and you put together their best 4-game span, meaning you take Barry Bonds, 4-game span. You take your best Tony Gwynn hits over a 4-game span. None of them could match this. If you built a super team, you could not match what Shohei Ohtani just did over a 4-game period.
Yeah.
This is stupid. This is just stupid. It's not making any damn sense anymore as to what Shohei is doing.
I'm sad that this is going to be the last week of regular season baseball, because for no other reason, it might mean the end of another stinger. I so enjoy the stinger so much. And it's just great to watch him play.
Oh,
he's having fun. He's having a great year. Everything's going right.
Having the best year ever. The best year ever. It's not hyperbole. You can't even it's not even like a grand crazy.
No.
He's having the single greatest offensive year at the plate. And I know people are bringing up Barry Bonds because people are saying this year, even though it was so great, this would only be the 8th best in terms of productivity as Barry Bonds. He's batting first. He's a leadoff, and he is stealing bases like we've never seen. He's going to wind up with 55 steals and getting caught 4 times.
It doesn't make any sense. It couldn't be done in a video game. You can't have these kind of numbers. He's doing a Major League Baseball.
Blue, it's in play if he plays. I'm not sure he plays the final weekend.
I don't think he can't get 60 home runs. That would mean 7 home. He has 53, right? He's 7 home runs this week. I mean, he did hit 3 in one game and got 10
I don't
ribbies,
know.
so
I'm not putting
anything
past the guy on this. 55 is going to happen, though. I think he's getting there. Really? Never seen 50-50. I think we're getting 55-55. Yeah, if he plays, as long as he plays, I think we get there. I think he'll have 2 more home runs. I mean, I think what Shoemaker did with the Marlins, I think kind of set the tone in baseball. Don't walk the guy. You got to pitch to him. Like, you can't do it. Can't walk the guy. You got to let him hit.
And again, we got old baseball heads in here. We got new baseball heads in here, and it's fine. Like, pitchers are different. Rules are different. The bases are bigger. It's never been easier to steal bases. All that's true. He still has to go do it. And came up in the bottom of the 9th yesterday, down 1. And I was looking at the score on my phone, and I saw it tied, and I went, geez, I wonder if that was Ohtani that hit the home run. And I went back and watched Ohtani hit the home run. And while I was watching it, Mookie hit a home run to walk it off. And I went, again, with this Dodger team, like, trying to find reasons why they're not going to win the National League. And
again, pitching. That's why.
Pitching is a disaster.
That's why.
Can they slug their way
to a title? They can, potentially. I mean, it's possible, but it's going to be 6-5. Baseball games in the playoffs for them will look like last night, 6-5.
What did Lewis just come in and chat and say? Did you see it? He said 12 of the last 13 Dodger games have gone over. Rainmaker 5-1-2.
Believe it.
12 of 13. You guys are looking for gold on the NFL board every week. Should have been enjoying the baseball. The baseball's been pretty monotonous, boring, win without thinking. Rainmaker Lou right there. 12 of the last 13 Dodger games have gone over. There's only 6 more left. 6 more. Then we got playoffs.
1 pushed, I guess. Okay. There you go. So 12-0-1, last 13 games. White Sox have tied for the most losses ever.
Oh my gosh. 120
losses, and we've got a bunch of games left.
6 games to go.
Including 3 versus the Tigers. The Tigers might need.
Oh.
So 123 is in play. 124 is in play. 125 is in play. And 126 is in play.
Yeah.
126.
Thank you, Joe C. Myers.
Seriously, right? Keeping track of all that. We picked the right.
At some point, I want to meet so many of you in the chat and so many of you that communicate in the Discord. TheBVBShow.com is how you get there. On the Twitter, at Sports Talk Matt, at SportsBK Consig, and at Boston versus the Book. You guys are posting pictures, talking. Joe C. Myers is a guy I never met, and he's, in the military. And he does all these different things, or like he's doing marches or he's doing this.
By the way, have you seen this on Twitter? What the White Sox official account's doing?
Yeah,
it's hysterical.
They took ownership of it. It's great.
So funny. No, they refuse to post the score.
Yeah,
they say the final score can be found on our website.
Right. Whoa.
Sorry. Too excited.
It's great.
I pulled everything. Sorry. I think it's awesome. I think it's absolutely hysterically funny.
Right.
I'm in love with it. I think it's absolutely one of the funniest things on Twitter right now is the White Sox. And I agree. Everyone's like, give this kid a raise. Whoever came up with this idea, give this kid a raise.
He's doing a good job.
It's awesome.
It's really good. But yeah, Joe C's been posting it. So we've been watching it every day.
And then before we head to bonus time, no Major League Baseball team will win 100 games. The most, the Dodgers could win 99 if they win out. They'll win 99.
Yeah.
First time since 2014 that a team will not win 100 games in Major League Baseball. Does that mean the playoffs could be really crazy?
The playoffs already are really crazy.
Well, I don't know. If it's Yankees Dodgers, it's not crazy. That's just,
If it's Yankee Dodgers, the path to get the Yankee Dodgers is going to be crazy. And I don't think it's necessarily not going to be Yankees Dodgers because nobody won 100 games. I think, and I'll throw it back to you and you can finish it in bonus time and stuff, but the sense of urgency to win 100 games. You had to win 100 games sometimes to win your division because the team behind you, there was only one spot, was winning 96 or 97. Now we can get into playoffs with 90. We don't need to win. I mean, we want to win a division and whatever, but I think, again, we're seeing so many things change in sports, records and different measuring points that we used to have. I don't know if anybody, unless they really play in a bad division and you play less division games now than you ever played, is going to win 100 games. It's an interesting discussion. It's the first time in 10 years, but it might be a trend.
I think you're right. And I think baseball is going to screw with the playoffs again because of it.
Oh, please, just leave it the way it is.
I think they play with it so much that I think they love the third wild card, but they aren't going to like teams, throttling down, like the Phillies throttled down. You can just tell.
Question.
They were on pace. I thought the Phillies would win 102, 103 games. They were on pace to win over 100 games easy.
Right? Yeah, they don't need to.
They just put it in neutral, and we're like, we're good. Like we have a good lead. We're not going to hurt anybody. We're going to have elongate our rotation. We're going to give guys rests. Like, we don't care what happens. We're up by 7 games in the division. We're good. We're in. So that, I think, is going to make some changes coming for Major League Baseball, where maybe they go that third wild card is great, but we got to have a bigger incentive to win the division or make it more difficult on the wild card team. Because if wild card teams keep on winning the World Series, you're going to hear teams get angry about it. And they're going to say, wait a minute, that week off kills us. We can't have that week off. You think it's a benefit for us to get rest? It's not. Our bats get cool. Our pitchers aren't great out of the gate. They're not as sharp. And here comes a team that's been fighting for their playoff life for the last week, and they're in it. We're not in it. So I think that could very well change. We could see a change if you're right, and it does continue.
Get us out of here.
If you guys are live on YouTube and Twitter, don't move. You're watching the replay on SportsGrid or listening on SiriusXM. Thank you so much for being here. We're back tomorrow for a Tuesday. We'll break down the 2 games tonight and more on a Tuesday's BVB. The rest of you, bonus time. I just think there's a lot of things that are going to happen. Baseball's so quick to just fuck with everything happening with the playoffs.
God, I hope not.
That I think that this is not, that trend's not good, Dave. I mean, that's, if you're right and it turns into a trend where we don't see teams winning 100 games and teams are just like, all I got to do is win my division. I don't got to worry about pushing it.
The only way I think you incentivize a team to win 100 games is if there's another team right there with them trying to win 100 games and get the 1 or 2 seed. Like, I want the 1 or 2 seed. I don't want to not play,
but
I need to get the home field.
Well, you have the home field, but should we have it be where they miss 1 series now instead of 2? Like, is it just where we?
No, don't do that.
I'm just saying there is a definite disadvantage that is showing up here over the last couple of years, wildcard wise. And if a wildcard team wins the World Series this year with the Dodgers, the Phillies, the winner of the AL East, whoever that's going to be, Yankees. I mean, this is going to be very interesting to me because baseball, all of a sudden, teams are going to say, I don't need to win the division. This was the whole problem with the wild card back. Let's go back to the 90s. Let's go back to how this whole thing started, where you used to have to win your division to get into the playoffs. They created the wild card. All of a sudden, people were like, wait a minute. I don't have to win my division anymore. I can just get in. 2004 Red Sox. They didn't win the division. Won the World Series.
It became that way for hockey. You just got to get home field. And the playoffs become more exciting, yes. More random, yes. I don't know if that's better or worse. I don't know if, like, the Phillies know they're going to win their division. They have to stay ahead of either the Dodgers or the Brewers to make sure they get that bye. I don't think it matters to them at the end, whether it's 1 or 2. And it's definitely at the cost of keeping innings down for the last 3 weeks. To the victor goes to the spoils go to victor. Is that
no? The victors go to the spoils.
The victor go to spoils.
Yes.
If you get to that point where September becomes, I think you've earned it. I just think that there's going to be things that we measured. I mean, I don't know who a good team is. I really don't know who a good team is. Like, I can't say, well, they won 105 games. That used to be a mark, a benchmark. We won 100 games. They're a good team. They just got upset in the playoffs. Well, you can't even say that anymore.
Time for All right, we have 2 NFL games here tonight.
I'm never getting rid of that stinger. I love that stinger.
I'm going to same game tease it here in primetime.
So you're
Jags
coming.
plus 11, under 51.5. As you
This makes sense.
Okay.
This makes 100% sense.
I think the Jags are going to put a scare. I think the Jags are going to put a scare into the Bills tonight. I think the Bills are going to have maybe a come from behind type of victory here, but an 0-2 football team staring 0-3 with Trevor Lawrence. I don't want to say the year is over, but you're in the same division as the Texans, and you're going to have a really tough time making the postseason at 0-3.
Yeah.
This is their life. The Jags are playing for their life tonight.
Again, I don't know if that factors too much into the
Sully, this
for me.
sucks. It absolutely sucks. I made it to halftime last night. Halftime of the Chief game. I was out. I went dead to sleep. I was like, fuck this. I'm out. Like, this is too damn late. East Coast time. How the fuck did I grow up here? I have no idea. It's awful.
I was sitting at Grimaldi's eating pizza by myself at the bar.
Would rather have been with you than having to. I was literally
6:30 at night, and it was halftime.
I was out. Good night, goodbye,
wonderful
sleep. It was so tired. I mean, I was off a red eye from I slept 3 hours the night before.
Right.
But I was like, it's 9:30 and I'm not making it past halftime. I was like, I'm getting to halftime and I'm done.
Shut it down.
I'm shutting it down.
Shut it down.
I can't do it. I couldn't do it. It was I was so tired. I was like, this is it's exhausting tonight. So I'll do it. My favorite thing about tonight, but today coming up, but I got a dinner plan tonight, and then I'll come home, I'll tape the juice, and I'll go to bed. Like, I don't know how much of either game I'm watching tonight. Like, I'll watch it on my phone. I'll follow it, but I don't know. I mean, it's
give the kids the last poll to vote for right now. Will you make it to the end of the second game tonight? Will you see the final score of Cincinnati, Washington tonight, or will you just shut it down?
On the West Coast, of course.
On the West Coast, it's a lock. I just want to see where our people are. By the way, more people voted. Did more people vote for the lateral?
Yeah, they did.
Did you see that?
Yeah, it makes no sense. Lateral. I don't know.
Yeah, I told you we got a lot of English professors in here. A lot of guys like to be very literal in here.
Are we betting or booking this?
I like the total. I think the side is going to be good. I'm nervous, though, that if Buffalo gets rolling at home, they win this game by like 13. It's going to be close.
Okay.
But I think this is a bet, but you're going to be it ain't going to be, unless they're winning.
Bills by 7 or Jags
by 10.
I think the Bills will need a fourth quarter comeback. I think the Jags are going to win this game in the fourth quarter, and the Bills come back, and the Bills might win it. But I mean, look, I hope for Amanda's sake, Buffalo wins by 7. That's the hope. And then she goes 5-0 in the circuit contest, and would be great. But we'll see how this goes. I teased it up to 11. I just said, she's like, "What are you betting?" I said, "I'm teasing it. I'm taking the Jags. We can both win. You can win, and I can win. Just Bills by 7, and we're all good."
Listen, it depends. You can both win and not see the end of the game, if you know what I'm saying.
Over 46 Bengals and the Commanders tonight.
Yeah, I think this is a bet. I like the Bengals. I think Bengals team total over. This is like what I said is a Bengals get right game. I just think after what I saw last week, I think the Commanders are going to have a tough time stopping the offense tonight.
Ross is on the boat at 4 a.m. tomorrow morning. Yeah, you're not seeing that.
I got to see
kickoff, Ross.
4 a.m., Ross.
You can see kickoff? I'm not seeing.
Is he going fishing again for the tuna? Is Ross the fisher?
Yes.
The fisherman?
Yeah, he's tuna fisher. So Butchie likes over.
Over.
Yeah.
Butchie.
And I'm going to do what I bet it during the show. I'm going to do what we talked with Lip. take the Bengals down to 1, and then pull the total down to 40 and go over.
Yeah, he loves that.
Yeah, I think it's
he's been doing it for years. I've seen him do it for years. I mean,
I love that play. I mean, the Bengals are. I mean, obviously the Bengals losing the game would be catastrophic for Survivor, and it would kill a bet for me too. But I like that play a lot. So I have 2 same game teasers. Everyone's asking me. I'm not doing a 4-leg teaser, guys. We're not going to tease all 4 games together. We'll do same game teasers. We're not crossing over. We're not doing a 14.
Just because they're on the same night doesn't mean you have to do that.
Yeah, I can't. So no. And look, if the Bengals lose, I'm going to be like, oh my gosh, because 61% of the remaining entries in Survivor are on the Bengals tonight. So we're talking about more than half of the 1,600 left go down.
There's 900 and change on them tonight. We go under 1,000 people
after week 3.
In a contest that had 14,200 and change
entries. It doesn't make any sense. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Favorite thing about today is what?
2 things. I got to shout out Austin. I met Austin yesterday at Circa in the lids. He sees my hat, my Viking hat. I go in as I was wearing this exact fit, like the kids like to say. Went down there and saw some people about some things and talked about Survivor. Sat with Derek for a little while trying to figure out. He said the response to his empathy package was outstanding, way more than he thought.
Good.
Because my first question to him was, what are you going to do after today? Because a lot of people were walking around going, I'm out of this now. I survived last week, and I'm out of this now. And, he's like, I'm not doing anything right now.
Oh.
Said, one time's a marketing meeting tomorrow. He was laughing, but we were going back and forth. But I made my way up to the lids, and I had the hat on, and we started talking. And I got the pleasure of meeting this kid named Austin. Girl dad, super dude. And his wife, Brianna, gave him this quote that he gave to me that I'm going to use after we shared our stories. And, he's a New York guy. He's a hat doctor, magician, just like our guy Corbin.
Oh.
And they are of like minds and like abilities. Don't put a question mark where God put a period.
Huh.
I went, that is outstanding. He said, yeah, stop asking why you're here. Just be here. The period ends the sentence. Question mark, it leaves you questioning what you're doing and this and that. And I was like, man, is that strong? I love it. And we started talking more. And I did not have a BVB hat on me, but we started talking about the show and this and that. And he goes, wait a second. I've made hats for you.
Huh?
And I went, what? And he's like, people have come in here. I've made your hat. He said, I love it. And I went, okay. So now got another hat guy on board with the mission. And I was like, okay, this is really good. So that was my favorite thing about today is that this thing is spreading and we don't even know it's spreading.
Right.
It's a lot of fun. And again, you guys posted pictures over the weekend. Hopefully, if you haven't sent them already, there you go, Fish. See? How about that? Didn't know. Good to know.
That's neat.
That's great. But if you're taking a picture over the weekend, tonight, anywhere, out watching it, email the show. AskTheBVB@gmail.com is the email specifically. The website is thebvbshow.com. We will not have empathy packages for those of you that are in Survivor.
Sorry.
For those of you that are in the millions and use the Brigade proxy service, all the links are there. Good job getting all the picks in. It was a great weekend.
It was.
Go Bengals, because we still got some people with Bengals
tonight. 2 things. One, obviously being here in New Hampshire. You hockey heads will appreciate this. That's at the front of Amanda's house.
Yes, sir.
So look at that. You have 2 BBB hats.
Love it.
You don't get that where we live. You don't get that in a lot of places where hockey is that large, where you have 2 jerseys. It's also September. It's a little early for the Halloween, but I thought that's at the front of her house with the Bruins and the Blackhawks here getting ready for the hockey season here, because hockey is coming very quickly. We're going to be betting NHL hockey in 2 weeks, right? Or 3 weeks for the start of the season.
The preseason started over the weekend. I mean, the score.
They're in Des
apps.
Moines. A buddy of mine was the voice for a Wild game. They played a Wild exhibition game in Des Moines.
Yeah, they're playing in different places. It's the absolute best. It's the absolute best. It's coming back. I love it.
It's never too early for the spooky season. Yeah, it kind of is, Ross. It's a little early. But I am seeing my mom tonight and my sister for dinner. I'm leaving here in about an hour to go see them. My mom is going to Italy for 2 weeks. So we're going to say goodbye to my mom. And I haven't seen my sister for a while. So since she got engaged, so it'll be fun to hang out with them tonight and spend some time with the fam and eat my weight in oysters and seafood tonight. So
is that the plan?
It's planned for me. It is, at least that's the plan. I'm just going to, I need a dirty martini. And I need about 12 oysters when I sit down. Just like,
oh my,
just bring it over now. Just order it and let's go. We're everything else later, but that's what we're doing here.
How long is the drive
to Portsmouth from where I am? I think it's about 45 minutes.
Okay.
To Portsmouth, New Hampshire is where we're headed.
Does that drive home after you eat like that? Is that a little problem sometimes? No, it's easy. Okay.
What do you mean? Like I have 1 or 2 drinks?
Oh no, that you get all gurgly when you eat all that
no.
fish.
Because I don't get gurgly with fish. I was born and raised on fish. What are you talking
about?
I
know. I'm just saying it's
oysters,
it's not a long ride
shrimp,
home.
all sorts of fun stuff. We're gonna knock it down. And yes, Brandon, it's almost auto time. That's right. It's almost time for Chris Autos and the tremendous things that he does for us with all the hockey betting and all of the spreadsheet. We're going to be back staring at Chris Otto's spreadsheet and all the first period unders, the gift bets. Addison gets rocking with all his favorite gift plays. And yeah, I can't wait to get back betting hockey. I am going to really try hard to have a really good year betting hockey and be successful this year. I'm going to put some big work into it and really trying to do that. Wait, there's a speakeasy in Portsmouth called the Red Door. We have the Green Door. I don't know if I'm going to the Red Door with my mom. What's the Red Door, Ross?
Pause. The Green Door here is a different place.
Whole different place.
Didn't know.
Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know either for a while until I Googled it and went like, okay, the Green Door. This is the Red Door. I don't know. Is like a sister of the Green Door?
I don't know. We're going to have to do some research on that. Send an email.
Oh boy. No, thank you.
Yeah,
so
we're going to find out about that.
Favorite thing about today, it's always fun to spend time with the family. So I'll go see my mom and my sister coming up here in about a couple of hours. So we're back tomorrow. We're going to head over. Oh, Ross, you said where I'm going. So I can't, that's where I'm going. So I'm not going to put that on the screen, but that's where I'm headed.
Okay.
You just, the place you recommended for oysters is where we're going. So yes, I'm very much excited about doing that. He is Dave. I'm Matt. We're back tomorrow. Full recap of Monday Night Football. We get into a Tuesday. A lot of baseball coming tomorrow on a Tuesday. We look at the playoff races. Exacted time, Dave? We getting close? Everyone wants to know.
I was looking at them over the weekend.
Okay. Yeah. Everyone's looking.
They're not up yet at Circa.
So. Okay. Everyone's wondering. Exacted time for baseball tomorrow on a Tuesday. Bostonian versus the Book.